Randall.
An inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, and I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in Pound, Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. Hope you enjoy listening to me today. Today, I'm going to talk about just characters I've met in prison. Some I liked, some I didn't like. But just to give y'all a little bit more of a glimpse into my world. You know, I've talked about a few people here and there, but I haven't really gone into detail about some of them. So I think that would be a good episode for y'all to hear. So I'm going to start off with the pod that I'm currently in. On the bottom tier, you got 10 cells, and we're all single cell. On the top tier, you have 12 cells, and they're all double bunked, except for one transgender who has single cell status. And that transgender, this isn't Jess, this is a different one. This is one called Show Off. The Show Off is a cool person. They're laid back, they're calm, they're quiet, they're, for the most part, they're respectful, but they're young and very immature. Very, very, very immature. So, they're, like I said, they're good people, except when they get to drinking. Every single time this person gets to drinking homemade alcohol, they freaking go off the handle over everything. They start screaming and cussing and, man, suck my F you and, man, F your God and what you believe. They go off the handle. And, they just stand out in the middle of the pod and will just scream at anyone and everyone. It is wild. It is, a lot of times it's funny. Because, they be saying some off-the-wall stuff out of their mouth. And it's hilarious. Thankfully for me, I've never had a problem with that person. And I'm smart enough to know that when they do get to drinking, just go on ahead and peel back that way. Because I'll tell you right now, you ever spoke to me in that manner, I'd have no choice but to punch them in the damn mouth. I'm sorry. They say some foul stuff to people, and they get away with it. But it's crazy, though, because, I'm not used to being around that kind of stuff. I'm used to, when I came up in the system, and you start screaming at somebody, that was it. Fight on. It don't matter where you at. It don't matter how many police in the park. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to fight. Now, all of a sudden, you've got this person, and it's crazy that you have, because, prison has a pecking order. The killers are at the top. Then you got your homosexuals, or they're lumped in with the child molesters and whatnot at the bottom. They're not as low as child molesters. They're a step above. But, I come up in a system where homosexuals and transgender, they got no respect. They got dogged out. They got mistreated and abused and looked down on and shunned. That's just the way prison was. But now, all of a sudden, it's completely different. And you have this person that does this. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. Sorry about that. And it's just wild that this person just comes out. Like I said, it's literally, it reminds me of a split personality. Because when a person isn't drinking, I've had a couple of conversations, and, I've tried to give some maturity to this person, to help this person to think. It's like I said, really, really young, early 20s still. And, a decent person can have a good conversation when they're not drunk, that is. And I've tried to tell them. And every now and then they'll come back and ask me, man, what was that thing you said about emotions? And I'm like, look, if you do not learn how to control your emotions are going to control you. You're either going to make your emotions your slave, or you are going to be your emotion slaves. And, so they constantly come back and ask me that. So, I try to help when I can, just not when they're drunk. I stay the heck away from the person when they're drunk. Then you got Dennis. Oh my God. There's a movie called Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy. It is a great movie. It is a really, really good movie. And it's actually a prison movie that takes place way back in the 30s or something. And they had this character in there called Can't Get Right. That right there explains Dennis to a T. He's a good person. He will give you the shirt off of his back. Literally, he will give you the shirt off his back. Like, my player blew up over a year ago, and, you know, he still has his player. His player still works. So, you know, about twice a week, he'll bring his player out and let me use it for the whole day. You know, and I get to listen to a little bit of music. Normally, you know, I'll play video games. He actually went and bought me a video game that I really like called Townsman, just so he could have it on his player so I could play it. He doesn't play it at all. That's the kind of dude he is. But he is a character, like, and he's so emotional. Like, he has a freaking hair trigger. His hair trigger temper actually has an additional hair trigger on it. He gets so mad. When he gets mad, his eyes kind of bulge out of his head. And it's just so funny. And, like, he kind of stands up on his tiptoes and he leans forward. Like, so he'll talk to me a lot. You know, when he gets mad, he'll come vent to me because he knows, you know, I don't take it personal and I'm not going to punch him over it. And some people will. But he gets, and he looms over me. And, like, the very first time he did it, I thought, man, damn, I'm going to have to knock this dude out. Damn it, I don't want to hurt this old guy. And he's an old guy. But he didn't take it too far, and I'm like, okay, this is just a part of his personality. So I learned to deal with it. And but he is funny as he can be. He's just this old racist hammer-skinned dude, and he's just as cool as he can be. But my God, man, when he gets mad, he has no filter. He says the first thing and the last thing that comes into his mind. And believe me, he's going to get the last word because he's just not going to shut up until he does. He is a hoot and a half. I mean, I laugh at this guy. And the crazy thing is, this dude has got like 10 pairs of glasses. He has glasses that he wears to see. He has glasses that he wears to use, you know, his player. He's got glasses that he wears to use the kiosk. He's got glasses that he wears to watch television. Hell, we joke with him so much that whenever he gets mad, he'll pull his glasses off and put his angry glasses on. I mean, the dude is just as funny as he can be. You got this other old dude in here named Soldier, old school black dude. This dude is 56 years old, and he is freaking ripped. I mean, this dude does nothing but work out. You know, he has a bit of an anger problem, too, you know, and he should be going home soon, and I'm a little concerned for him because I genuinely like the guy. You know, I wouldn't say we're friends by no stretch of the imagination, but I help him out a lot. There's a lot of times, you know, he doesn't have money, can't buy, you know, soups or something like that, so I just give him soups. And he's like, man, I'm going to pay you back, so I'm not worried about that, man. And, but, like, this dude just works out all day long. And he's pretty cool. Like, you can have a conversation with him, you know, like, he knows everybody in prison because he's been in prison since he was young. Like, he's similar to me. You know, we know a lot of the same cats. You know, and so when we talk, man, you know, we talk about them, you know, the old school days, because he remembers the old school days like I do. And, like, you know, we want to go back to those days. It's so violent back then. Like, you had to fight back then, but there was so much more respect. It was so much better. Like, you didn't have as much stress when everybody would fight and stab one another as you do now when everybody just runs their mouth and snitches on one another. You know, so, like, we talk about that, you know, we go back down memory lane together. Like, whenever I want to take a trip down memory lane, Soldier's the guy I talk to, you know, and he's loyal to you. That's one thing I'll say about him. You know, him and Dennis, you know, they're really loyal. Then I got my dude, Little John. Me and Little John we're becoming friends. I never really thought that was possible because when we first met a few years back over in the Sam Simplot, like, there was mutual respect between us because we know each one of us will go. We'll put that work in and do something, but we didn't really like one another, so we didn't talk to one another. You know, and then in the pod that he was in, he had his friends that he hung out with, and I had my buddy Frank. Me and Frank hung out a lot. We never really crossed paths. We would talk here and there, but we didn't really cross paths. But when I come over this pod, you know, I'm doing me, and then, you know, Little John came over about, I don't know, maybe 9-10 months later, and we just wound up getting talking, and we realized we have so much in common. Like, he's old mountain boy like me. You know, we talk about hunting and fishing, and, you know, we'll talk about trucks, and stuff like that. And even though dude's not on the same path I'm on, he drinks a lot, and, he'll do drugs, and he loves himself some whores. Yeah, I had to put a stop to those conversations. I'm not trying to hear your sordid sex life, buddy. That's not happening. But, he's a good dude. Little John, he's the one that actually had to OD and died and came back and all that stuff. That's just just some of the people that, I know in here. And, you've had some good dudes. You got dude named Preacher. Y'all remember him from the episode where I was talking about Jess and Kirk and how I'd made the deal with them for the holiday package, and then, when they got locked up, they broke their word. Preacher was the one, they said to give everything to him, and I thought maybe Preacher was behind it. I don't know. I got a little paranoid, and I pulled up on Preacher ready to fight. Preacher's my dude. I really like Preacher. So he's a Christian guy. He's, different than me, but that's okay. We don't hold that against one another. And but he's a loyal dude. He got caught up in something, where his emotions got the best of him, and he did some stuff that he shouldn't have done that he deeply regrets doing. He's the guy I talk to about real stuff. We talk politics. We'll talk race. We'll talk religion. When I want a serious conversation, I know I can go to Preacher, because I know anything that I say is not going to start an argument. It's not going to be a problem. It's not going to be any of those types of things that you have with a lot of guys in here. There's guys in here that, honestly, I hate to say it, but, you have some guys in here that if they were on fire, I wouldn't piss on them to put them out. You got, this dude named Black Cherry. I've spoken about him back in the past, but, this is one of the worst human beings I have ever met in my life. This dude is just complete, absolute garbage. This dude he goes to a pod and he'll borrow a bunch of people's stuff, and then he'll check in and run. That's how he steals. That's how he does stuff, and he's a snitch, he's a rapist, he's just no good. I can't stand this dude. I don't hate people, but, he's one of them dudes. If I saw him walk in this pod right now, I'd probably get up off the phone and just tell him, nah, man, turn around and walk your ass right back out here, man, because I'm not going to be around you. And if you don't, you know what time it is with me, because you know me. He knows me from back in the day. He remembers me when I used to still be Ghost. You got just really nasty people like that, but you got some really good dudes, and that's the thing about prison. You meet people from all walks of life. You'll meet doctors in here. You'll meet lawyers in here. You'll meet judges in here. You'll meet police officers in here. You'll meet gymnasts. You'll meet martial artists. You'll meet former soldiers in here. There's this dude in here named Dutch. And he's this old Army vet, from back in the 80s and the early 90s. And he's short, he's fat, he's really pale, and he's got thinning red hair and a lot of freckles. That's why we call him Dutch. And this dude, he has no support. He has, no family, no friends, no one to do anything for him, So I would help him with coffee. And every now and then I would give him some food, but he doesn't want to eat soups. He said, I don't like soups. Well, I want honey buns and chips and stuff like that. I'm like, well, dude, man, dudes ain't going to feed you that stuff all the time, man. that stuff costs a lot of money. You're asking me to feed you stuff that I don't even give to myself. And, he's like, I like what I like. And I said, well, man, dude, I got some soups for you, and I'll help you out with coffee, man, but that's about all I can do for you. And, he got upset a little bit, but, I really didn't give a damn. So what this dude does is he'll go down the line. He'll start at cell 11, and he'll call the dude in cell 11, hey, yo, so-and-so. And they'll come to the door, and he'll stick his fingers up to his mouth. And he'll pop his fingers up and down to where they kind of run across his stomach. And that's his little signal, hey, man, you got some food I can borrow. And he had a houseman job. But the thing is, he would borrow so much food, and he would store box it. So, he would have to pay 2 for 1. And that means if let's say, somebody gives him 1 honey bun, he has to pay them 2 honey buns back to get that 1 honey bun from him. And he's built up such a debt. He would go down the line and he would do that, and he would pay off what he could pay off. But there comes a point where he can no longer pay off and he runs up such a debt because he lives by his stomach and he doesn't know how to control his appetite that he has to run. He has to go tell the people, hey, man, these guys are going to kill me, man. I borrowed some money and I can't pay it back. And, like, you know, so you have guys in here that are like that. Like, on one hand, they're good, but on the other hand, like, what the hell are you doing? What are you thinking? Like, and, I mean, I tried helping that dude. I talked to him until I was blue in the face trying to tell him, look, man, what you need to do is make some sacrifices. What you need to do is go hungry. Like, I'll help you with some soups. Yeah, I'm sorry, man, that I can't buy you summer sausages and cheese and pickles and refried beans and all this other stuff to go in with it. But like I said, dude, I'm not going to feed you what I can't afford to feed myself. And you just got to make them sacrifices. Eat what you can eat, man. Screw what it tastes like. Screw what you like, man. You put food in your belly. If you're hungry, you freaking eat. And then you pay off all your debt. And then that way you won't have to go back and borrow food from anybody. You won't have to sell everything in your cell. And then you can have your whole paycheck for yourself. And then you can make a budget. And you buy what you need for the week for that week. And then the next week you buy what you need and so on and so forth. Now, I tried talking to this dude over and over and over again. And you just, you know, he won't listen. And that's the thing. You have guys like that won't listen. You got this young dude in here named True. It's like 22 years old. I mean, this boy's still wet behind the ears. And he's got a good heart.
You have 1 minute remaining.
He has a good heart, but his word isn't good. He lies all the time. But yet, I feel so sorry for him. I keep helping this dude out. Over and over and over again, I keep helping him out. But these are the types of people you meet in prison. You get the good ones, you get the really bad ones. You get ones in between to one degree or another. But this has been Randall and Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. For those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcasts, I'd appreciate it if you would review me and rate me, preferably 5 stars, but I'll take whatever you'll get me. Don't forget to check out my website. I'm also on Twitter now, @RedOnionRandy. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.